If you've watched the last couple of vlogs, I've been trying to answer some very specific and gut-wrenching questions. And today I want to answer another question, which is, what do you do if your unfaithful spouse refuses to end the affair? It hurts like hell to be in that position. You, as a betrayed spouse, completely understand that. It's humiliating, degrading, disempowering, confusing, soul shredding, as one woman said to me a long time ago. It really rocks the core of your being when your spouse refuses to cut off the affair. Now, the truth is, and I said this a couple of video blogs ago, that you cannot effectively work on the marriage if your spouse is still involved with their affair partner. But that is for the long term. I'll speak more about that in the short term. But here's some thoughts on what you can do if your unfaithful spouse refuses to end the affair. One of the most empowering, one of the most sober and present and smartest things you can do is to ask your unfaithful spouse, will you come with me to the EMS Weekend and get expert help? Notice I didn't say, will you end the affair and come be with me at the EMS Weekend? No, it's, will you come with me to the EMS Weekend for us to explore options and see if our marriage can be saved? It is absolutely possible to find clarity and to find some initial momentum, even if your spouse is still involved with their affair partner. I will tell you time and time again, people come to the EMS Weekend, and some of them are not involved with their affair partner, but some of them say, no, I'm not involved with their affair partner, and they really are, and they still make incredible leaps and gains at the EMS Weekend because they begin to see why the affair happened in the first place. They begin to see the deception that they have been wrapped up into. They begin to see that they really do want to be with their spouse, and that all of these different justifications and rationalizations that they've built up inside their mind is actually a farce, and they start to come out of the fog. And so it is absolutely possible with expert help to be able to come and gain momentum even though they're involved with their affair partner. And when you leave the EMS Weekend, that's when our therapist will have designed a protocol for you and your spouse to begin to walk out, for them to begin to cut off all contact either forever with their affair partner or for 30, 60, 90, whatever amount of days that you set in motion to see if the marriage can be saved. You see, if you get the right people, you can get the right process in place. And when you have the right people and the right process, you can begin to gain ground. You can begin to start to see clearly. You can begin to formulate a protocol specifically for your situation to eventually decide what you both are going to commit to and walk it out with passion and dedication and not keep looking over your shoulder. Another thing that you don't want to do when your spouse is still involved with their affair partner is you don't want to chase them and keep pursuing them, because what you create is what I call the rock star effect. And what that means is they've got all the attention they want from their affair partner. They're getting affirmation, unfortunately, physicality, intimacy of all kinds, and they're getting all their needs supposedly met by their affair partner. And then you, the betrayed spouse, come along and you're giving them affection and trying to cajole them back, and you're trying to woo them back as well. And maybe you're being physically intimate, or you're there for their every beck and call. And if they call or text, man, you're answering because you're trying to get them back. And I would offer to you the suggestion that's actually stealing from your power. And that's one of the worst things that you can do. What you want to do is flip the script. And you want to be able to ask them to get help, or ask them to do the EMS Weekend or something like that. And if they refuse, you go, okay, well, here come the boundaries. You don't get to have me and the affair partner. You're not going to be the rock star here. I'm not going to empower the dysfunction. I'm going to disempower the dysfunction. And you're going to begin to see what your life is going to be like in the future, because you can't have both of us. You see, we want what we can't have. And as an unfaithful spouse, if I know that I can text you, call you, and that you're going to be there and just affirm me and be there for me whenever I need you, well then I have the freedom and the luxury to kind of bounce back and forth. And I can get all the attention that I want, because remember, infidelity is fantasy and escapism and in the illusion that life is all about me. So what you're doing as a betrayed is you're continuing the dysfunction that it's all about him or her. And so whenever they want attention, they get it. And so when you say no more, no, 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 they begin to want what they can't have. And when they can't have you, they're going to begin to move towards you. So when you pull back, eventually, a week, 2 weeks, I don't know, maybe a month, sometimes you'll begin to see them actually reach out to you. And you'll begin to see them pursue you. And at that point, you have to be very strategic on how you respond. But if you see that behavior, a light should come on and you go, aha, wait a minute here. Samuel was right. They're wanting what they can't have. And that's how you respond to that is a completely another blog in itself. But you've got to be very calculated. You've got to be very strategic. It's not about playing games. It's about being very strategic, because you're dealing with someone who is incredibly self-absorbed and unhealthy. When your spouse refuses to end the affair, what you don't want to do is to keep demanding that they stop, because what you're doing is you are unfortunately empowering and creating what we call the Romeo and Juliet effect, where, we shouldn't be together, which, makes it even that more dynamic and that more of a kind of just the Romeo and Juliet. This isn't supposed to be happening, so you're fueling the adrenaline and you're fueling the darkness of it, which makes it more appealing to them. And so when you're able to go, look, if that's who you want to be with, well then go be with them. Because you don't get to be with them and with me. I'm just not going to live that way. So why don't you go be with them? Because I'm not going to keep chasing you. I'm not going to debase myself to be in competition with them. Time and time again, Samantha said to me, sometimes it was out of spite and anger. Sometimes it was a genuine, delivery of, hey, I'm strong without you. But she would say to me, hey, that's where you want to be. You need to go be there. Go. The door's wide open. We're going to be fine without you. You can visit your kids on the first, third, and fifth weekends of the month, and we'll find a way to make it work, because, they need a dad, but I'm going to be okay without you. So if you want to be out there, go ahead. I mean, that scared the life out of me. I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to be here. You're who I want to be with. But she, whether she felt like that 100% of the time or not, she communicated to me, I'm going to be fine without you. And I knew, man, she is gorgeous. She's incredible. I mean, I knew, look, at the end of the day, do you think this woman is not going to, find new life without me? There's people lining up that would love to date her and be with her. I mean, I was completely sobering up to what a complete idiot I had been, and she wasn't chasing me. If she was chasing me, she would have continued to reinforce that life is all about me, and oh man, I'm such a great guy that I came home to my wife, and forever, Samantha would be looked upon by me in a way that would have been very disempowering. And I promise you, as dysfunctional as I would have taken advantage of that time and time again. Don't demand that they stop seeing the affair partner once you've communicated to them, hold on, we need to get help here. I'm not going to live this way. The more you keep demanding it, the more they're going to run from you, and the more you're going to intensify the affair, and you don't want to do that. You are going to find much more power when you say, hey, if you don't want to be here, then that's fine. I'm going to be okay without you, and I'm going to start to build my life without you as well. That may even necessitate an attorney. That may mean filing. That may mean separating. That may be some things that you really don't want to do, but you have to do to protect you. Finally, don't let yourself get caught up into constantly trying to reason with them. As long as the unfaithful is in charge of what recovery looks like, it's going to be dysfunctional because they're dysfunctional. They don't get to traumatize your life and then decide what you get to do to heal from that trauma. As long as they are in charge of recovery, it's going to be warped, it's going to be dysfunctional.